Hello. Well, another day, another radio. Today, the Amstrad 901, which I think a lot of us have had in the past, and that one has arrived here to have a little tweak and a twiddle, see what we can do with it. The first thing I noticed about it was this was one of those that had the crystal filter fitted. I don't know who remembers those, but in the 80s, with all the congestion and bleed over and so many people on the channels, you could buy a crystal filter. This is one here. If you can see it, they're only very, very tiny. We can put it down there for comparison maybe. But you used to get these fitted in the radio, and it was supposed to be the cure-all of the bleed over. Well, it wasn't really. It helped. But the thing is, it also reduced the sensitivity of the radio. Now that didn't matter much in the 80s, because you didn't need any sensitivity to talk to your next door neighbour anyway. And that's how it was. You was talking to people all around your housing estate. But anyway, when I did a test of the sensitivity, it was round about half a microvolt sensitivity for the 12 dB SINAD that everybody talks about, and that seemed very poor, knowing what the radio is capable of. So I took it out and put in one of the old original ceramic filters. Well, I say one of the old originals. This is new stock. I can't even get into it now. Just open it for you to compare them. Come out. This is the original Toco, I think they were, ceramic filters that was in these radios, and this is the replacement that was supposed to stop the bleed over. So, taking this one out, gone back to one of the old faithfuls, because bleed over isn't a problem these days, is it? You don't have anybody much on, and the sensitivity is now round about the 0.1 of a microvolt per 12 dB SINAD, as opposed to 0.5 of a microvolt. So it made a fantastic difference in sensitivity. That's enough about that. I'm going to go through all the various tests now, like I have done with the other radios, and we'll see just exactly how this performs now, in comparison with others, I suppose. So off we go. First test we're going to do, as before, is the voltage controlled oscillator. Make sure that the voltage controlled oscillator is set up so that we can operate smoothly and nicely on all 40 channels. Well, we've done this before, but everything's connected up now, and we'll go to the first channel. I'm working upside down, of course. This is a crazy thing, isn't it? It's crazy, these radios. In order to test them, you have them upside down. Oh dear. Right, so and as we said before, we want a reading nicely between 2 volts and 4 volts. That's what we're aiming for. So channel 1 on receive, 2.29 volts, so that's nice. 2.2 on receive, channel 1, and when we go to channel 40, 3.8, so that's well within the spec of 2 volts to 4 volts. And as I mentioned before, there's a couple of test points down here. You probably can't see them with the camera angle anyway. 2 test points, one that you do on receive, one you do on transmit. The little metal core, square metal core you do on receive. On transmit there's a little red trimmer. So let's see what we're like on transmit now. On channel 1, on transmit, 2.3 volts. So 2.29, which is near enough to 2.3 on receive, 2.37 on transmit. Channel 40, 3.8 receive, 3.9 transmit. So all nicely, perfectly within the spec, lying well between the 2 volts and the 4 volts. Absolutely perfect. So that is the voltage controlled oscillator test, Amstrad 901. The next thing, of course, we all want to know and we concern ourselves is the power. How much power is it putting out? So let's go back to channel 20. I tend to do these things around about the middle of the band. And again, it's fairly straightforward to line up all the metal cans which are all along that side of the radio by this green resistor. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think that's it, isn't it? Yeah, because the other one is the frequency. So right down that side. Let's key it up and see what it's like. There we are. 4 watts. Is it? Yeah. 4 watts. 4 watts power. So again, that is, well, spot on. Bang up to spec. 4 watts power. We'll just move the camera down so that you can see the LEDs, because of course that is the thing with these Amstrads. You have this LED display when you transmit. So let's move the camera down to show the LED. Key up the radio again, and there we are, all the LEDs lit nicely. I'm not going to concern myself about the low power because whoever runs them on low power anyway, it just doesn't happen, does it? But that's it, it's putting out 4 watts, bang on the 4 watts, or just slightly over 4 watts. All the LEDs are lit up nicely as they should be. So that concludes the power test. What's next? Oh, let's get it on the frequency counter and see how close to frequency it is. Right, let's see what the frequency is now. Channel 20 of the UK 40 should be 27.79125. 27.79125. Key up. 27.7907. Now that is as close as it will get, because the crystal in this radio has aged a little bit, as they do, and that is as near as we can get it. 27.7907. So it's about 300 cycles out, something like that. It's nothing really, it's well within spec, nothing to worry about at all. So that's well within spec, that will cause no problems at all. So that's the frequency, check, and it's what it should be. Oh. What have we got now? Oh, we've only got one more transmit test. One more test of the transmit side, and that is to see what the deviation is like on FM. Because of course a lot of these was tweaked and twiddled over the years, and people apparently improved them, so they thought. So let's just set up the deviation meter now and see how that compares, and that will be all of the transmit tests done. Well, the last of the transmit tests then is to see what it performed like deviation wise. So we're on the 0 to 3 kilohertz scale on the deviation meter over there, and we'll see how it performs on that scale. So we're looking at 2.5k ish, just under 2.5k deviation. That's what we should have. And so which scale is it on the meter? 1 to 3. Oh, the numbers are just below the scale. 0, 1, 2, and then a little bit of a marker, and then 3. So we're aiming for that little bit of a marker on the screen there, that little arrow there. That's what we're aiming for. So let's try the deviation on transmit. 1, 1, 1. So we're just over that little marker, but we're under 3k, so we're about 2.6k-ish deviation. So that's fine. Nice level for the deviation, well within spec. Absolutely no problem there. So that concludes all the transmit tests. Tested everything transmit wise, and everything is performing pretty much as it should. So now we crank up the volume, open up the squelch, and we have a look at what the receive spec is like. But so far everything is pretty much spot on, well within spec for this little radio now. But I have been inside it and done a bit of tweaking and twiddling, so you know, it didn't arrive like this. But let's check the sensitivity on receive now. Now we're doing the receive test, and if you look at the SINAD meter, it's nicely in the green. There's a little green square on the meter, and that indicates the 12 dB SINAD level you should aim for. And so 12 dB SINAD, turn that noise off now so you can hear me. 12 dB SINAD was a level on the SIG Jenny of 124 dBs, and 124 minus 124 is, where is it, 124 is 0.14 of a microvolt. So again, it's well better than the target of 0.2 of a microvolt sensitivity. So that is fine. Receive sensitivity is perfect. We've gone through all the tests, everything is coming up and showing exactly as it should. Sadly, we haven't got the original microphone, but that's it. Well, that's it, that concludes all the tests then. I've thrown all the regular tests at it to make sure it's performing as it should. The only complaint really is that sadly it's not the original microphone, but whoever had it, they've taken off the branding to try and make it look as though it's the original microphone. It isn't, but you know, everything's working as it should. Power is correct. Well, we haven't checked the Roger beep. I'll have to do that, I suppose. We can't do it at the moment because we're feeding into the SIG Jenny. But that's the only thing I haven't checked is the Roger beep. But I'll give it a little test later. And that's it. One Amstrad, all ready to be packaged up, put back in its little case, sealed up. Add my usual security screws, which I've been adding since the 1980s, and then I'll just have to decide what I'm going to do with it. Thank you for watching. Thank you for putting up with yet another video from me.